Howlett. I'm a student here at UH Maui College. My first question, do you support the South Maui retail complex set to be built in Kihei? How are you going to ensure adequate infrastructure for this complex?
That is the one issue that I've been looking at, and honestly, I'm a little bit torn on this issue, to tell you the truth, because I support business, and I do support growth, and I support more opportunities. However, I'm looking around Maui now, and we have a hard time filling the malls we have now. If you go to Maui Mall now, you see lots of empty spaces, and so I want to meet with these guys, Eclipse Developments, and I want to see what their plan is and how are they going to avoid having all these empty spaces. Because if we have a big mall in the middle of Kihei with lots of empty spaces, that's not going to do anybody any good. And what I honestly think should honestly happen is, because there's so much controversy about the mall, like some people want it, some people don't, I think we should be very transparent and put it out there for a vote, ask the people of Maui if they want it or not. I mean, I truly believe in government by the people.
Ms. Capero.
Hi. Like Aaron, I'm truly torn on this issue as well. But when I look at the people, the groups that are protesting this mall, they're the same people that protested very many projects, and let me bring one up, the Hawaii Super Ferry. They were at the forefront of forcing that mode of transportation off of our island. So in that respect, I look at it like, go ahead. But truthfully, I think the development is going to go ahead whether these people protest it or not, because it was a done deal back in '96, I believe.
Good point, Lisa.
Year.
Great point.
So we have to support it. I would really support it if they had a Trader Joe's there. I'd wave that sign. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guzman.
Thank you. I believe what I'm looking at in terms of the South Maui development there, in terms of making sure that in the future we don't have another project that goes beyond the community plan or the Island Maui plan. I think what we're looking at in terms of this particular issue, you're looking at a provision that says within the state land use
but do you
commission,
support it or not? That's the question.
On the other side, people have been saying, well, the developer misrepresented. Well, I think what you need to go back is in the record, in terms of the land use commission, there's always going to be a record, like a hearing. So if that evidence is actually going to show that there was misrepresentation, then there is a cause to fight it. But at this point, there hasn't been anything open or discovered to actually cause a legal entitlement fight. So at this point, I think it's going to happen, but there are ways to prevent it from happening if they can produce the evidence. I want actually this not to happen in the future, and basically having sunset provisions put in there in terms of developing that they have to develop within a certain period of time, and therefore they can't come back with a project and say, okay, times have changed, now that project is no use for us in terms of being consistent with community plan.
He spoke for a long time, and I really don't know where he stands. He never really did answer if he likes it or not.
Thank you. And this has been a topic for us on the council, with the administration. Their entitlements are there. They're there. And this was done back in 1996, yes. And many of us were not on the council or were in candidates at that time, busy raising our families. So many of us now are looking at what means can we prevent this from happening in the future. Sunset, like Mr. Guzman, we have looked at that. Revisiting projects every 5 years is another aspect we put forward. The island plan that we're working on, we put many provisions to prevent things of this nature from happening.
But they have
At this point, all we can ensure is that to make sure that they follow all the necessary infrastructure as well as other criteria that we have developed, so that the traffic congestion will be minimal, that water and other issues are being taken care of, and if not, then we have means of stopping the project. But at this point, it is there. I want growth in Maui. I think it's important, but I'm not sure if Kihei needs a mega mall. Maybe it should be somewhere in central Maui where people here, where everyone can come in and not have such a congestion in the Kihei area. So again, something to be discussed in the future, but we have provisions right now in the general plan that we're working that this may not happen or will not happen in the future.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victorino. We'll go on to Mr. Fukuyama. Before you answer the question, please be aware of the time. Several of you have gone over a little bit, and we want to be fair to everybody involved. Go ahead, please, Mr. Fukuyama.
Yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, the mall, the owner has all entitlements. The piece of property there is deemed development. It's zoned properly. The people that's protesting it is kind of misleading the public. They're saying that the M1 zone doesn't cover for retail spaces, but M1 zoning covers for commercial, and under commercial is retail. So, you know, they need to, I think people, if they protest a project, is fine. That is your right to protest a project. But do not mislead the public.
I agree, Alan. Good point. I do agree with you on that point. Good point.
Into believing that, according to the zoning that they're zoned, is not the project is not proper. But if that is not true, the M1 zone covers for them to do pretty much anything that they wanted to do on that piece of property, and it's not going to start. It started.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, Mr. Blackburn.
Thank you. The problem is the process. We hear it more and more, especially from the community associations, that things get changed without their knowledge or get changed without them having a say in the process of this entitlement. So it really, we have to look at that very, very carefully, that the community, where it's being planned and where it's being built, should have a say in really what's happening. And this is, I think, where the problem is coming out. Now, on the developer side of the picture, you know, they want to be able to do their project with the least amount of interruptions and problems. And by not reaching out to the community, the only way this is probably going to get solved is somebody's going to file a lawsuit, and now everybody loses. So the process needs to involve the community, make sure the developer works with the community so there's a buy-in, and then we can move on. There's so many processes now, but the community associations many times seem to get left out at the last minute.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to our next round of questions. And Ms. Harrison, you're going to address that initial question of yours to Ms. Capero.
I'm Stephanie Harrison. I'm a UH student. Okay, my first question is, what do you envision for the County of Maui over the next 2 years? What would you like to see happen?
Truly, I would like to see the county council work more productively towards streamlining not only permits, but the way laws are read. I think they've spent 6 years now on this Maui Island plan, and I have to agree with Will Spence on many, many things, that we need to not leave that island plan as an ordinance as it's written, but make it flexible, because one thing in life we're all guaranteed is change. Our population's going to change, our lives are going to change, we may change our cars, we may change where we live, but change you can depend on. And what are we going to do when we need to implement more growth, let's say in housing, because that's inevitable. It's just inevitable. And do we have to fight again with this Maui Island plan? So I'd like to see it written as a guideline, not as an ordinance.
Thank you very much. Mr. Guzman.
Oh, thank you. For the next 2 years, number one, I'd like to see the island plan adopted. There's been 20 years of work that's gone through it. I think it's important in terms of making sure that we prevent sprawled growth and making sure that we protect our natural resources. The next 2 years, I'd also like to see more redevelopment within our infrastructure. Redevelopment means basically going forward and fixing our roads, our sewer, our lighting, things that need to be fixed and maintained for our basic needs. And that actually can put people back to work. Also, we also need to make sure that we always maintain and support our tourism industry, because that is our primary industry, as well as looking for new resources of bringing in new businesses such as technology and medical development. We can always work on capital project improvements in developing future infrastructures. Thank you.
Trying to be everything to everybody, Don.
Thank you.
That's the issue I have.
Here we are at this point. 2 years from today, the island plan will be done. It will be done by the end of this year. And we have made changes that have reflected not only what Will Spence, but the communities wanted. If you've listened and watched us, we have been listening to the communities very carefully to make sure we preserve prime ag land, other industrial developments, and our most treasured of all industries, our hospitality industry. It's very important. We are moving ahead with money that we put right here in this college, at the University of Hawaii, for our nursing program, which enhances our medical, dental. We are looking at other programs in the high-tech SPEND program that this county freely believes, and the council has always supported, so that you, the young people, as you come out of college, will have opportunities right here on Maui County. So we are working in many aspects, and in 2 years, we hope to have more jobs and more opportunity in renewable energy and other areas, technology, etc. Thank you.
Mr. Fukuyama.
One of the county's hottest issues today is still our water system. Within the next 2 years, I would like to see it improved, upgraded, so the delivery to the people can be more efficient, less energy used. We might even move into some solar energy, wind energy to generate power to deliver the source. It takes money to deliver water because we use electricity to pump.
Yes.
So I would like to see the system be upgraded so that it'll be more efficient to the people. So maybe we can get a little less charges on our water bill today. The water director has implemented or shown us a pretty neat plan, a 20, 30-year plan. However, we need to implement the plan. To me, maintenance on any system is the key to success.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Blackberry.
Just a quick one on Allen. I walked the Waikanae Flumes as a fire rescue captain 25 years ago. They were leaking like a sieve. I walked them 2 months ago. They're still leaking. And that's a gravity flow system. No pumping, no electricity required, and nobody maintained it. And they're going to fix it next year, maybe the year after that, who knows. We enacted laws and repealed them. Does that make sense? Let's think through what we enact before we enact it.
Hello, good
let's look
point.
at our fire codes, our building codes, our electrical codes, our plumbing codes, and give our county employees an opportunity to have exceptions to the rule for the small people. Right now, county employees will tell you, I can't give you a break because I have to give everybody else a break. Write that break into the code itself so that the government employees, many of them want to help you, have that opportunity. We just need to make common sense decisions in government and give our people the ability to do the same thing. And that's what needs to be accomplished in the next 2 years, and that will help lower costs in the community.
Thank you very much. Mr. McLaughlin.
Well, real simple. I would like to see our local government start thinking like capitalists. Stop thinking that they have to interfere with business, and stop thinking that they have to limit the amount of, small business permits for whatever activity they feel necessary. I want our local government to let capitalism work the way it's supposed to work. And the way it's supposed to work is with the law of supply and demand. Like if a business idea isn't good, it'll shut down on its own without the government's help. If you understand the law of supply and demand, you understand that the supply will never be greater than the demand, because the consumer will pick the products they want. And so therefore that's how capitalism is supposed to work, and I would love to see our local government start thinking that way, because that's how it's supposed to be.
All right, for our next round of questions, we will return to Ms. Sakamoto, and this question will be directed towards Mr. Guzman.
If elected, how do you plan on working towards using reclaimed water instead of injector wells? And why do you think these systems are currently not existent?
Well, number one, I'm an advocate of opposing injection wells. I believe that they're basically environmentally unfriendly and hazardous to our reefs. In the olden days, they did put in those injection wells, and I think there should be some analysis and some studies and research in how to shut those injection wells down and reclaim the water for reuse in possibly our ag industry, and filtering those through, maybe through possibly working with the water department in terms of their plans, as well as other organizations that would help provide environmentally protective resources to do away with those injection wells. Thank you.
Mr. Victorino.
Thank you. Something near and dear to my heart. You know, reclaimed water is being used in South Maui and West Maui at a large rate. We need to expand our capacity in both regions so that we can eliminate the injection wells. And we presently have systems that are being put in. We're looking at expanding from where it ends now down to our police station, so that we also can move it from the police station all the way to Wailea, and eventually have the entire South Maui complex from Makena all the way out to Sugar Beach area with reclaimed water. Right now, about half that area is served with reclaimed water. West Maui, they're using it. Almost all of the Kaanapali area is on reclaimed water. So that's, you know, we're making great strides in that area. We need to eliminate the injection wells, no question about that. And part of it is expansion and development of better treatment plants or secondary, tertiary treatment, so that this water can be used in our ag. Thank you.
Mr. Fukuyama.
The use of reclaimed water, or coded R1 water. It is a good system to use on plants, grass. In agriculture, there have been tests done, and then this company, they tried to grow their crops with R1 water, and after 2 years of use, have found out that some of the water has impurities in it, and it contaminates the soil and makes it become unplantable after the 2 years of use of that R1 water. So, you know, there's good and bad to use the R1 water. I know grass works really well because Kaanapali, the golf course, is really green, and you know how hot it is in that area. Elier Golf Course uses it, and they have to use an X amount of gallons a day, and the golf course is very lush. So we know it works really well with plants and grass. Thank you.
Mr. Blackberry.
You know, we're talking pie in the sky. Infrastructure costs for any pipeline is tremendously expensive, and that's why we're still using injection wells. As a Maui Electric Safety Director, I went to a dig-in on Lipoa Street where they were putting in a private water line across the street from a county water line. So my thought process is, why are we having two water lines for potable water on the same street? It doesn't make sense. So better planning. Let's look at putting in some reclaimed lines, maybe have the developers put those in where we can, because otherwise we can talk this to death. Nobody's talking about injection wells being done at Kahului Sewage Treatment Plant because nobody wants to touch it because it's so expensive. We got to start looking at solutions, not just saying, well, yeah, this is what I want to do. Pipelines, extremely expensive. How are you going to fund it? Who's going to pay for it? And this stuff got to be thought out and advanced now, not later.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Okay, well, my solution to this is real simple. It comes down to money. And so what the local government needs to do is stop spending money inappropriately and make the cuts on where they're spending money inappropriately. Stop giving the special interest and spend the money we need on the water. And I see people up country have to be put on a meter list, and that to me is absolutely ridiculous for that to happen. Nobody should have to, you know, be on a list just to get a meter. And so to me, it all comes down to money. You know, spend it on the water. Simple as that.
Ms. Capero.
You know, water is very important, and you come to realize that by living on an island, because the water that we have here is our water. We can't pipe it in from Arizona or anywhere else. I agree with Mr. Blackburn that we need to get this going. If it is high technology that we need, there are technologies out there where people are drinking reclaimed water, and it's fine. So we need to spend more time on it, get more direction, and more administrative budgeting for that, for those projects, and to fix those flumes, and correct. I know I'm going to get feedback on this, but Wailuku Water Company, why do they have a claim on the water that belongs to us, the people, and especially to the Hawaiians? Why do they have a hold on it? Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody's had an opportunity to ask or answer that question. Now Ms. Howlett will direct the next question to Mr. Victorino.
All right. The Maui County has been pushing for a film industry to be established in Maui. How do we ensure the people of Maui County develop the skills required to work in similar high-tech or high-value industries so they aren't forced to hire outside of the state?
That's an excellent question, and the answer lies